Hey.
Hola.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. I don't know how many different ways I can say that.
Bonjour. Let me put my phone on now.
Bonjour. I feel like I can. All right. I'm in the game. Welcome to another episode of CEO in Rome.
This is Sio.
And this is Rome, and this is episode number 73. Right?
No, it's 74.
Are you sure?
I'm positive because 72 was the last one to season 6 and 73 opened season 7.
Okay. My bad. How the fuck did I do that, bro?
I don't know, usually on top of the numbers, but numbers, who fucking cares?
Yeah, we're going to name this later anyway, where it's a
Yeah.
button. So 74, we're rolling with what CO said.
Right?
And let's get a couple of things out the way. So best podcast of 2019.
Undisputed.
Undisputed. If you want to dispute it, shoot us an email at coinrome@gmail.com. Also, if you want to get yourself some merch, head on over to afgoclothing.com. Get yourself a t-shirt, get yourself a hoodie. And if you do get something, definitely take a picture, tag us in it.
Yes, and we have a discount code for you guys. It's Zio and Rome 15. Use that 15% to get you something.
Yeah, do that. So, I had something else I wanted to open the show with, but I just made a last minute decision to address something very important. So for those of you who heard last week's episode, I made a comment, and the comment was along the lines of the sex wasn't popping in my last relationship. Now, when you hear that the sex wasn't popping, that could be taken one of two ways. Either that the sex was infrequent or that the sex wasn't great. And either way, the point is that was a very factual statement. However, it turns out that my ex-husband, even though I didn't say it was my ex-husband did not like that I made that comment. He feels that it painted him in a negative light, and that
Did you say just penis?
I'm sorry?
What'd you say? Penis? Peanut?
Painted him in a negative light.
I was like,
Wow,
you
I
already
see
got
what's
him.
on your mind. Okay. So
No.
he said that he felt like it painted him in a negative light, meaning that it would have led the listeners and now the watchers on to thinking that his sex with him is whack. Okay. He sent me a really long email. I won't get into all the details. However, he did feel that it was unfair. And in all fairness, I offered to share some of the feedback that he had for me, just so the world can know the truth from his perspective. So the first thing is that he feels the reason why the sex wasn't popping was due to my own fault. The first thing is that he felt that I was a bit prudish, but the main thing is that he stated that he was not physically attracted to me or not attracted to me in general for a variety of reasons in which he feels are my fault. So he said, so if the sex wasn't popping between us, it's your fault and not mine. I think he wants everyone to know that his sex life is popping right now and that it's going really great, in which I'm really happy for him. I'm thrilled, but I just want the world to know, according to my husband, my ex-husband, he wants everyone to know the sex wasn't popping because of me. It was my fault. Now, I could respond to that if I wanted to.
Yeah, you could clap back if you wanted to.
But I'm not.
Good for you.
I'm gonna take the high road. I respect his perspective.
That's good.
And I would hope that he would respect my perspective should I want to share that. Speaking of perspective, this show is called the CO in Rome podcast.
Facts.
And there's going to be times that we talk about our lives.
In our perspective.
We talk about our life experiences. And the thing is that previous relationships, my former marriage included, is part of my life experience. And should I care to comment or talk about it in any regard, that's my choice and my decision.
That's
and
your prerogative.
it's from my perspective. And if Jonathan, if you're listening, because you said it was okay that I mentioned your name this time. If that's going to be an issue for you, I want to just say this. First of all, thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for your subscription and your streams. However, if it's going to be uncomfortable to listen to, I really want you to reconsider your subscription, because what I refuse to do is to engage in difficult conversations with you at this point in this stage of my life. Any differences that we have, we had more than enough time and opportunity to sort out our differences, and clearly we were unable to work through those differences, hence the reason why we're divorced. I can make the commitment to try to be as graceful as possible. However, should you continue to try to come at me in a disrespectful and rude manner, at some point I will lack consideration. I think that it's safe for me to avoid any conversations about my ex moving forward. However, if it's in my heart to let it out, I will. And like I said, if you have a problem, I just ask that you don't listen. And if you do care to respond, and if you want the world to know anything from your eyes and your view, there are a variety of resources available for you to create your own platform and to tell your story if that's something you'd like. So I wish you all the best. And I just hope that he's thrilled now that everyone knows that from his perspective, the sex issue was my fault, which I disagree, but
that's okay.
He wants the world to know that, so I'm happy
okay
for him.
Which is a great segue to one of my topics.
Oh, okay.
Difference in opinions and stating those opinions don't always have to lead to arguments. We can have completely different views, and for example, your ex-husband sees things one way, you see them another. That can be discussed entirely in a healthy conversation. And it doesn't have to lead to falling outs or arguments or things like that. That comes with relationships, friendships. I like that you and I can speak and get our point across. And at the end of it, I don't feel like there's bad feelings or like that the other person left in a bad state of mind. And I feel like people should practice that in all realms of their life.
I agree.
It's harder for some than others.
It's definitely hard for me because like, I am such a slave to my emotions sometimes. And that's something that I'm working on. That's a personal goal of mine. So when I'm upset about something and it initially presents itself, I don't necessarily respond in the best way initially. And that usually fuels a fight and an argument. So I'm definitely guilty of that. See, Jonathan, I do know how to admit when I'm wrong and when I'm not painted in the best light. But my point is, yes. I know and I'm fully aware that, I don't respond to things the right way all the time. And emotions typically drive that, which I feel is the smart thing to just that when you are emotional, it's probably not best to respond to things
right away.
Yeah. And I actually had a situation happen recently where I definitely slept on a conversation before having it because I did want to be mindful with the way that I had the conversation and didn't want to respond emotionally. So I just think that as we all grow older, regardless of the age, I think that's a really good goal for anyone to have.
Do you feel like having conversations of difference of opinions helps you? Or do you feel like you just are one of those people that rather not have the conversation at all? Like how some people like to just sweep things under the rug and act like they never happened.
It depends on what the opinion is about. I think that for me, I'm always interested in hearing someone else's view. One of the things that I struggle with is if the opinions are about me as a person, I'm not always welcoming to hearing what people think about me. Unless I'm seeking that criticism, I'm seeking that perspective. So that's something I'm not necessarily comfortable with, and I don't know if I'll ever grow comfortable with that. But I think that just hearing other opinions in general, I mean, I live for that shit.
I live for that shit because there's moments where I gain knowledge from other people that perhaps I never even considered.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like, wow, how long did I go without knowing this? And now I'm like, I'm enlightened. I'm probably going to be a different person. There's a layer that's been added to me. I like that.
Yeah, and for those watching video, I'm shuffling around a lot. Like I definitely have a posture problem.
Oh yeah, I'm like my back hurts so bad because the last video, we noticed that when you watch things back, there you pick up on things that you weren't aware of to begin with. I'm definitely a sloucher. Like I definitely slouch all the time, which is horrible. So I'm being a little bit more mindful to be a little bit more straight and very well postured, and my back is fucking killing me here.
Yeah, like we're learning how to sit straight.
How do you not know how to sit?
I'm like,
I've been sitting since I was 5 months.
Yeah, this is crazy. So I think I'm in a good position right now. I might stay stuck like this for the rest of the episode. Speaking of, if you guys haven't subscribed to us on YouTube yet and you really enjoy like seeing our facial reactions and things like that, we're on YouTube now. We've been on YouTube for a while, but we weren't uploading the full episodes in video.
Correct.
You were getting some audio and then some little things here and there that we would film, kind of like the wine condom review, things like that. But yeah, you could definitely look forward to full video from us moving forward, which is really, really exciting. But yeah, that was a really good topic. I don't know, I always find it interesting when people are against hearing opposing views, like when I see people having arguments with one another simply because someone views something a little bit differently. It's like, why is it so important for your perspective to be right?
Yeah, I joined the debate class in middle school just because I like to hear different points of view and state my own.
Yeah, I think that sometimes it's an insecurity of people wanting to be right all the time. And I think that when I was much younger, I always wanted to be right. For me, like the only time I get like hell bent over my opinion and making sure that gets heard is when that opinion is going to impact something that's going on in my life. Like I will argue my opinion to the death if I feel like, this is going to have some bearing on my day-to-day life or it's going to impact me. But if it's like things that people talk about, like politics, I do get how overall general political views and things like that all affect us in our lives in some way, form, or fashion at some point. But the extent in which people argue, like they be like ready to like
mad
pop a blood vessel in their forehead over foreign policy. And I'm just like, nigga.
Have you ever seen people argue about the stupidest things in that manner? Like, remember when McDonald's had the McRib and it was year round? Why is it only limited time only? And then somebody would be like, it was always limited time. They'll be like, no, I'm telling you.
Yo, I'm not doing that.
Listen, just take the McRib. Like,
it's not that deep.
It is not that deep, but people get that way.
Like bringing it back to politics though, I do find beauty in people who are passionate about politics to where they are willing to fight to the death. And I feel that's an indicator that that person should probably become involved in politics, whether it's their local government or state government or whatever. Like
anything for the community.
If you naturally find yourself like fighting with niggas over politics, maybe consider becoming some part of politics and becoming a part of a campaign or working in politics. I mean, that's the positive takeaway that I get from that.
Yeah, I can see that
for sure. So, we were looking at some photos of us back in the day.
Holy shit.
This wasn't a topic, but I just scrolled across it when I was going through my text because I text myself the notes. CEO, like you've lost a lot of weight. We've been talking about it, but there's this one photo from New Year's 2016, bruh. Yo, night and day.
It's crazy.
How many pounds have you lost since that photo?
30.
So you lost 30 pounds since that photo, and right now I'm 30 pounds bigger than I was in that same photo.
Crazy.
So basically you gave your weight to me.
Basically, I'm sorry.
Got it. So if I wasn't attractive because of my weight, not only am I to blame, but CEO's to blame too.
I'll take the responsibility for that.
Yo, it's your fault. It's my fault. It's everybody's fault. Anyway, so Black History Month.
Yeah,
Yo, I feel like not everybody's talking about Black History Month that much.
Well, I think that the reason possibly, I could be wrong, may be that a lot of recent times, I've seen and heard people say, oh, why do we only get a month? Why does February have to only be dedicated to Black history? I want Black history to always be told and blah, 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 which I understand. But I think the sensitivity of it only being a month and it being highlighted that way has become a problem. Therefore, people are not addressing it as much as they would have back in the day.
Possible.
But hypersensitivity is real.
You know what I did notice though? I was on LinkedIn. There were a couple of announcements from two major organizations, don't know the names offhand, where they're creating a department or a head of inclusion and diversity within the organization. I could be mistaken. I believe one of them was McDonald's.
Really?
And I believe the other, like they were like Amazon, or if it wasn't Amazon and McDonald's, I'm talking about these are major corporations like that are household names. And I'm like, okay, we're in a space where you do feel the need to assign a role for someone to be the head of inclusion and diversity as it relates to the company standards. And the thing that was interesting in both cases was that they were Black women. So my question is, if you were to make someone the head of inclusion and diversity, right, in which the Kwame episode on Talkatecture was talking about the this African American history museum, and that the person that was ahead of it was a white person, and people had a problem with that.
Right.
So my question is, like, if a corporation decides to have a department where you're the head of inclusion and diversity, is it necessary for the person in that role to be a minority?
I don't think that it's necessary, but I do think that it would work better because minorities may know a little bit more about inclusivity or lack thereof than a Caucasian person. Yeah. So I think that it would be more productive, successful, and inclusive if it was a minority rather than someone who is not a minority.
I agree with that 110%. And I'm not complaining. I'm just thinking, right? Because I'm like, okay, had they made a white person the head of inclusion and diversity, we'd be like, yo, what the fuck? Inclusion and diversity, it's an oxymoron because this person is, you know, white, right? But then it's like, you know, this audio is jumping around, bro.
I don't see it jumping around.
It's pausing. You see it? Anyway, so my thing is, like, now when we see these announcements, oh, we name a new head of inclusion and diversity. She's Black. She's a woman. You know what I mean? Doesn't it? I feel like on the flip side, it makes me feel like
cringy.
It's like, is this a gimmick? Like, are you doing this to show the world you want to send the message that we're inclusive, we're diverse? Hey, look at our Black female head of inclusion and diversity.
I feel like it can definitely be very gimmicky, but at this point they have to offset. For example, when I say they, I mean any corporation that may have had to deal with a negative view media wise. McDonald's had that situation with the young lady from St. Pete and the white man that was attacking her over the counter, and the Black men were coming around trying to quote unquote stop it. I think that they need to kind of move away from that view and play the gimmicky role of there's a Black woman who is now ahead of this inclusive program that we're running. So whether it is or it isn't, as long as it works, listen, let's I think a lot of more companies should actually do that.
I guess that my only comment is that if you are going to name someone the head of inclusivity and diversity, right, but there are still issues of that go against inclusivity and diversity within the organization, that's when these companies need to be exposed. Don't put someone in the head of inclusivity and diversity and then still I'm seeing nothing but
correct,
you know. And I think before these companies make the announcement that they're naming someone the head of this department, make sure you're really practicing the message that you're trying to put out there.
Right. I agree with that. Don't let it just be a face thing.
For sure.
So last night I went out to a gay club, which I have no problem with. I literally have gone to thousands of them. And honestly, the vibe is different there a lot of the time. Everyone's a little bit more laid back. There's no real qualms about anything that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
However, I saw something that I have seen in the past,
Okay.
as of late, and I don't know how I feel about it, and I kind of want to bring it to the table to see what your thoughts are.
All right.
You know that we live in the world of trending plastic surgery for everyone.
Yeah.
Right? And to each their own. If that's what you want to do with your life and you want to get a little nip here, a little tuck there, whatever the case may be, more power to you.
Right.
However, I don't know how I feel about this new wave of men getting their asses done.
Oh, okay.
I saw so many men with the Brazilian butt lift last night.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like, you can tell when a dude has a regular fatty, because some dudes have fatties. Like, it's like, oh, he's got a big booty, and it's super, just the same way that you can tell that some girls got their ass done. This is crazy. Like, what I'm seeing, and then they're like wearing pants that like show it off, and by all means, again, more power to you if that's what you want to do with yourself. I find it a little weird though.
But they not doing it for you.
I know, but visually I'm saying, like, it's
You're
like
having a hard time.
I'm having a hard
adapting.
time. Yes. Like, I don't care that they're doing it, but it's like, I wouldn't have expected for it to become a trend for men.
Yeah, I think that before you pointed it out to me when we went to a party once, you were like, yo, I think that dude got his ass done. And I was looking at his ass and I'm like, yeah, you may be right. And if he did get it done, it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
But my thing is, like, I guess I'm a little more inquisitive as to, okay, are these guys typically the bottoms that are getting it done? Does it make them, do the tops find this more attractive? Because actually I was reading an article yesterday that was talking about females, like the way we view our own beauty standards and the things that men actually like about us. So for example, when it was talking about women, what's attractive to women, it was something a little more lean, less curvaceous, straight hair. And for men, it was like voluminous, wavy hair, big tits, big ass, thicker thighs, or, you know what I mean?
This is all very factual. Exactly what you're saying. I've had conversations like this.
So my thing is, like, while we out here trying to look one way, right? Niggas are probably like, yo, what the fuck are these bitches doing, right? Like, yo, the girl that's I don't want to pick at her, but the girl that's the hot news anchor in Texas.
Yes.
The
Yes.
curvy,
Yes.
whatever. So I got a friend that lives in Texas. Shout out to you. He listens to this podcast. And I was like, yo, I'm like, is this chick on your local news? I think it's in Dallas. I was like, I just realized she's in Dallas. He's like, yeah, man, I'm not a fan. Like, I get it. She's just always like highlighting her looks. And it's like too much. He was like, but my main issue is whatever the
What? Oh, you can't even get it out.
He said, my main issue is whatever the fuck's going on underneath her eyes. So she puts setting powder to set underneath her eyes.
She doesn't take it off?
He's like, whatever the fuck is going on underneath her eyes, she looked like a reverse raccoon. And I was like, God. Yo, niggas is paying attention to what we doing out here.
Damn.
They paying attention. And I was like, I was not expecting him to say that, but it's like, for me, I do feel like her setting powder is a little too light. I understand that there's different lighting and stuff like that in studios. And I'm like, okay, I didn't think that a man would be like, yo, what the fuck's up with the powder? I think they not really feeling that shit. I mean, every guy's different, but man, the shit we be working so hard on, thinking we looking good for these niggas, they just looking at us like, bitch, what is you doing? But I still want the puss or whatever. So with that said, if we're looking at the gay guy thing, right, with them getting the ass implants, maybe it makes them feel better about themselves. They think it's going to better attract a mate, but I'd be interested in hearing if the guy who's the top in that role, if he's more attracted to a man who's gotten his ass done.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I feel like I know enough people to probably ask that question too.
Yeah, let's take it up a notch.
Yeah.
I want to hear more about this.
That was dope. But I just needed to bring that up because it was so, like, I know that I've seen a couple here and there and like very few far in between, but like it was like in my face yesterday a lot. So I was like, is this like a thing now? I know that we've seen a few celebrities that we've watched reality TV on that have had him done as well. And I'm like, yo, it's got to be a wave.
You know what's interesting? I foresee that a lot of people that are getting ass implants are going to start getting them removed. It's already starting. Like K. Michelle, I think, had hers removed, but hers were the more like the street ass injections. They weren't actually implants, and you know that can create some health issues and things like that. But I know someone personally that was telling me like, yo, I'm thinking about getting my implants removed. Time the Infamous, she's like a really big YouTube vlogger, makeup artist, and she actually, I think, had an allergy to her breast implants.
All these things are so
and
possible.
Had to get them taken out. And I just kind of feel like certain people are like, yo, when I got this done, it made sense at the time, but right now, like, I'm over it. You know what I mean? So I think it's good for everyone to have their fun, be safe with whatever they're doing with their bodies. And then, you know, who knows? Maybe when you're 40, you're like, yo, I'm sick of this fake ass. You know what I mean?
Pull a K. Michelle.
Pull a K. Michelle and pull it out. I'm just sitting back looking at everybody like, hey, I got boobs and ass, so I don't really know what to say about this, but I'm watching y'all from the sidelines.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I've been losing weight, and I'm trying to like look in the future, and I feel like I already know my stomach's gonna be loose like it was last time. I think I might get a tummy tuck once I'm done this time, but we'll see.
I'm here with it. I'm here with it. You know, I've been saying that from jump. Like,
my pride has always said, like, yo, I don't want to do the plastic surgery thing, but I might do it. Fam.
See, but my thing is like about wanting a tummy tuck. I had a kid. I had a C-section. So my thing is that like for ladies that have had C-sections, you guys know what I'm speaking of. There's a part right what you would consider your fupa. Mm-hmm. When you have a C-section, that part never gets stretched back and then stitched. Like they just pull it and they just stitch it right after they do the C-section. So there's a section right above your navel that no matter how much I work out, no matter what I do with my life, like it doesn't have the elasticity that it did pre-baby. It's just never going to be that way. And I want to get rid of that. And I feel like I'm not changing anything about myself by getting a tummy tuck. I feel like I'm just getting my stomach back to the way it originally was. Yeah. I'm not adding anything to it.
I get what you're saying.
You know?
I get what you're saying. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I support whatever decision you make about your body or whatever, even though you're not seeking my approval.
Appreciate it, friend.
Say that for the record.
Appreciate it.
So, oh, wow.
Yeah?
Whoa. We have a friend of ours, the guy that told us about the cuckold thing.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about this on a previous episode, and he just sent me a text message that he had an unplanned threesome last night. I'm happy for him.
He's so amazing. He has the best stories.
Yeah, he does. So, we talked a little bit about Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. You're obsessed.
Last week. Yeah, so...
You're obsessed.
I guess it's part of my day-to-day life now, so I kind of quit social media. So this is like the little bit of fun that I get throughout my day. And me and my brother, it's kind of like a bonding thing for us too. And I really want to help him out like during these Poke raids or whatever. So update, I'm on level 14 now.
Yeah, from last week, just starting.
Yes.
You're good. You're dedicated. That is dedication.
Yeah, but you know what? I only do the Pokemon thing when it like makes sense. Like if I'm out on my lunch break, I'll hit up a few Pokestops on my way home, on my way to certain places. It's kind of fun. It's weird because the game came out in 2016 and people were like, yo, people still play that, but it's actually a little bit of fun.
It is fun. You literally were going to get up this morning.
Yeah.
To go with your brother.
Yeah.
At 4 a.m.
Yeah.
To go play Pokemon Go, whatever the fuck it's called.
So he was gonna go anyway, and I was willing to ride with him and
you were
hit
willing
the
to wake up at 4 a.m. on your day off.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
I mean, he's my brother. I love him. I'd love to spend time with him. And, you know, I'm like, why not? You know, because if I am going to hit a raid with him, I want to make sure that I got everything I need. It made sense for me to just roll with him instead of doing it on my own.
That makes sense.
You know, so man, I'm a fucking 33-year-old woman playing fucking Pokemon Go. Shit's fucking crazy.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry. Yo, so for those of you who've played Pokemon Go or that play it, right? A lot of Pokestops are like these like landmark locations. A lot of them are churches, murals, things like that. So one of them are the Jackson Springs Park, right? And yo, I'm learning certain things about the community and the neighborhoods where I work, where we live.
Pokemon Go.
I'm like, yo, I didn't know this shit was here. So that's been pretty cool. Did you know that there's a Boys and Girls Club inside of Jackson Springs Recreation Center?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah. A lot of the kids always go there for the summer.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not know. See, Pokemon is teaching me things about my community.
That's awesome. I read something on social media, and I know that you haven't really been on that like that, but it's right up my bag of things that I speak about, and I don't know how I feel about this. So it has been said, it's not set in stone yet. However, it has been said that conspiracy videos are going to be removed from YouTube, and they will no longer be playing them or give you access to them. Why? I don't know. However, I have a problem with this because I feel like they're forcing you to stay in the dark. Like they're trying to get you to not question things. Why would YouTube do that?
This is specific to the music.
And conspiracy videos are no longer going to be shown on YouTube.
Oh, I wonder why.
No type of conspiracy, whether it's politics, whether it's Illuminati, whether it's the celebrity shit, like no longer going to be shown.
I'm not worried about it though.
I know, but
I know there's going to be another video platform where these people are going to be allowed to do it. Like we got geeks on deck, like that are always out here creating new platforms for people to do this.
But don't you think that makes YouTube look bad?
It does. It does make me... YouTube's making a lot of changes recently that I'm not necessarily in agreement with, which, you know, YouTube's owned by Google. Google actually just announced that they're getting rid of Google Plus, probably because it was unsuccessful. They're making a lot of weird changes, and they've been making changes over the past few years that have been ruffling feathers. As it relates to conspiracy videos, I'm wondering if the big thing with Alex Jones really led to this, because it's like, yo, if you're gonna ban Alex Jones, because who banned Alex Jones? It was YouTube. Wasn't Twitter on board with it? Wasn't it Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook that all three said they were gonna ban him?
I'm not certain as far as the social media of Facebook and Twitter, but I know that YouTube for sure.
So I'm sure the question is, okay, why do you ban Alex Jones but you don't ban the Young Turks? You get what I'm saying? So maybe from a political perspective, it's like, you know what? Anything that's conspiracy related has to go, because we can't be made to look like, oh, we allow so-and-so to do it, but not Alex Jones. So I'm thinking, I'm not saying that's probably the reason why, but that may be a factor. I feel that I've learned a lot through YouTube about this stuff, but there's a website called Vigilant Citizen, and before I started watching conspiracy videos on YouTube, a lot of it was being done in blog format. So I'm kind of interested that as these conspiracy theorists shift away from YouTube, like what's going to be the next step, what's going to be the new medium in which they choose to share that information.
I think that it may be a disservice to YouTube though. Regardless of how they view it, opinions are opinions. If you're going to ban one person, I understand how it may look if you don't ban another. But I feel like a lot of people are in this conspiracy bag and they go to YouTube to find their resources. And I think it's going to be a disservice to them. You know, I'm kind of thinking like, I'm wondering if Young Turks, because Young Turks kind of shifted more into a news network type thing, and they're not 100% conspiracy theorist focused, and I can't even like articulate if I've ever seen a conspiracy video from them. I just kind of feel like they're in that space somewhat. And here's the thing, let's say they get banned, right, because they fall into this category or whatever. I feel they relay more information than they do conspiracy theories. I feel like they report news that's out of line of what we see in traditional news. Correct. All right. My thing is like,
putting myself in their shoes, I would probably be pissed if I found out like, oh, you banning my shit now? Like, what the fuck? This is my bread, my butter. I get monetization from this. Like, what the fuck is our business going to do? I just want to encourage these content creators like, yo, pull a Tariq Nasheed, like start selling your shit, put your shit on Amazon Prime. Just understand the strength in your audience and find ways to stay in touch with your audience to continue to create that content and find new ways of getting it to them. Like, don't give up just because this mega platform YouTube is shutting down. So don't quit just because YouTube's not showcasing you. Find new ways.
Which actually brings up an interesting question that just came to my mind. Is there a different platform other than YouTube currently that is in that same space?
Yeah, they're not as popular though, and I feel that
why that is.
I mean,
YouTube is pretty big.
YouTube was one of the pioneers in terms of like, it's like they were there first. They have a big company behind them, which is Google, right? So that's a big reason why. But Ustream, there's another one that people use a lot of times for music. It's not OpenLoad. I can't think of it, but there is another video platform that usually if you can't find it on YouTube, you can find it on this other platform. People typically go there if they feel like YouTube's going to hit them with a copyright strike and stuff like this. So I feel that what's going to happen is YouTube's going to be doing these other platforms a favor because they're going to see more traffic come their way.
That makes sense.
The platforms already exist. The structure's already there. The rules are a little more lenient. So
I guess
it's going to make them some more money.
We come from the generation where like we had LimeWire, we had Napster, we had all these different, resources to do certain things, and when I think about it, I feel like YouTube is really the only one that quickly comes to mind as far as like streaming. Because Netflix even has like it started off with Netflix a long time ago. Then it was Hulu, and then it was what's the other one? Fuck, I can't think of it right now. But anyways, I feel like there's multiple platforms when it comes to certain things, and with YouTube, I can't really think of anything in that.
There's definitely another one. I can't think of it, but it's Daily Motion. Yeah, no, not Daily Motion.
That sounds like a news place.
But there is this other platform that does videos. It's not as popular. It's like not my first go-to, but there's other shit out there.
Well, I guess we're gonna be hearing about them a lot more if that's the case.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Wow, I wonder how this is going to impact people. Like, this is the first I'm hearing of it.
Yeah.
I wonder how this is going to impact people like Vlad. Not that all of his content focuses on conspiracy. It's more about like music artists, reality TV stars, things like that.
That he brings
but sometimes he'll bring people on that'll discuss things that are like conspiracy focused. So I wonder if they're going to just strike individual videos and how that's going to look. Man, this is definitely something to follow.
Yes, for sure.
All right, cool. So thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
The fuck? How did I not catch wind of that?
Yo, when I seen it, I was like, oh, definitely writing a note about this because you know how I feel about my conspiracy videos.
Yeah, I mean, that shit's good, yo. Yeah. I want to talk about money. So, like, I love money. I like trying to find ways to make more money, spend less money, just being financially healthy and all that stuff's really important. But last week we talked a little bit about my grandmothers and how even though they don't have all the money in the world and their living condition isn't luxury and this and that they're happy women. And I was reminded in that sense that money isn't everything when observing people who may not have a lot of it. This week, I've kind of been reminded that even people who have a lot of money, they're not necessarily the happiest of people. And
don't look like they have the most of money either.
And appearance wise, not necessarily doing the best. I just feel like as I'm being reminded that money isn't everything, I think that, again, that journey of self-improvement, no matter what area of self that is, super important. And that inner peace and that happiness, like, yo, that shit is like key. That shit is so key, man. There's so many people out here chasing the bag, thinking that the bag's gonna solve their problems. Like, does a brand new pair of Doc Martens put a smile on my face? Absolutely. Do I need money to purchase said boots? Absolutely. Does it need to be my own money? Not necessarily. Was money required to make this transaction? In this sense, yes. Do Doc Martens equal happiness for me today? Yeah. But it's like once you have all the Doc Martens, then what? What fuels that happiness? You have to find other things that make you happy.
You said all the Doc Martens.
Yeah.
I can't.
I don't need them all, but I'm saying all the Doc Martens that I want. Then what? Like, we can't associate happiness with things because that's when it becomes dangerous. Mm-hmm. And when I view people that are wealthy or that are very financially healthy, but that they're still bitter and angry and busted.
Quite often.
Like, I see it all the time. It's like, wow, we have to start looking for other areas of our life to seek this happiness. You know, we see celebrities that commit suicide and we're like, yo, what the fuck? This nigga has a super successful career. He has all the money in the world. How could he have possibly felt the need to take his own life? And it's because they didn't explore those other avenues that lead to the road of happiness. So, you know, I just, as I'm observing things, I'm just reminding myself that while I'm out here chasing the bag and trying to grow, to not lose touch of what's really, really important: health, happiness, peace, all those things. And I just wanted to kind of share that just in case there's someone out there that kind of lost touch.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people relate having more money to, like you said, just having more peace, being able to just
financially free.
Do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. But doing whatever you want, although maybe fun, doesn't necessarily mean that you are automatically like this happy person every day. Like, the world is still happening on around you. Mm-hmm. And just because you want things to play out a certain way doesn't mean that the universe doesn't affect your day to day and may still alter what you want to happen. Yeah. You have to be aware that money doesn't change that.
Yeah. Money isn't everything, fam.
More money, more problems anyways. In the big great words of Mr. Sean
Combs.
Diddy Combs. Because you know, he done changed his name like 1,000 times.
That's factual. So I don't know how many more topics. I only have one left, and it's about sex.
I have one that's pretty serious. It can be pretty serious if we make it that way, but
go for it.
All right. So I know that a lot of us, you know, seek or want to be happy and be in love and have relationships. For the most part, that's how people feel. That, like, that's their goal in life, is to have a significant other. However, I have an interesting question. Do you feel that people show you who they truly are after the honeymoon stage is over, during the relationship still, or after a breakup? Because I hear a lot of people always saying, like, who is this person? I don't know this person to be this way after the breakup has taken place. Mm-hmm. But I feel like there's different levels to people, and they kind of expose themselves in different times. So I don't think that it's necessarily like, oh, the honeymoon stage is over and now this is who they truly are. I think that people are so many, there's so many layers to people that you may not never really truly know someone. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like there's a specific time that someone exposes themselves to you?
I mean, okay, honeymoon stage I feel is a thing because the motives are a little bit different when you're trying to capture the heart of an individual.
Yeah, the courting.
You know what I mean? And it's like, yo, you always put your representative on the phone. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be like, okay, I gotta make the best impression. You're more mindful. But then once you know you have them, the guard comes down a little bit. You may start to reveal things through that vulnerability that you didn't let out before. And I think that's just natural.
Okay. Yeah, I think that too.
Okay, so that's that piece. In terms of pre-breakup, post-breakup, a breakup is a significant change that it can impact who you are as a person. It could change your views of relationships. It could change the way that you view yourself. So my thing is that if you observe a ex is behaving differently than the way they were acting in the relationship, it doesn't mean that one is the real version and one of them isn't. Let's be real. A change happened. It may have changed them as a person, or they very may well have not shown you their true selves in the relationship. I feel it's very case by case. You know what I mean? Some niggas is frauds out here. Some niggas is not frauds out here. Some people are being real. some people are, are just different. If I reflect back on my marriage and that relationship, I know that at the end of that relationship, I wasn't the same person that I was in the beginning. And I don't feel that I wasn't being real. I just feel that there are a lot of things that changed me, a lot of changes that happened. And I feel that the person that I am post marriage, post divorce,
is different than who you were,
different than I was throughout the entirety of that marriage. So I think that a lot of times people put focus on who's the real version of you, like refocus on getting in touch with who the true version of yourself is. I think that if we all spend time getting to know ourselves and reshifting that focus, the world will probably be a better place. But,
and if you focus on, changing yourself and being a better person, you wouldn't really care about who the other person truly really is. Like, let people be people and do what they do.
I think that if you're in a relationship with someone, I do think it's very important to be in touch with your partner. And I think it is important for you to get the most authentic version of your partner. It's ultimately up to your partner to be vulnerable enough for them to show who they truly are. So I feel like the best thing that you can do is create a safe space where your partner feels comfortable being themselves around you. I have a really dear friend of mine who shared something with me about themselves that their spouse doesn't know about them.
Yeah, that happens a lot, actually.
And shit, my stomach's growling so much.
My nigga, that was just stomach?
Yeah, it's been growling this whole time. Whoo, gotta catch them all. I got a fucking Pokemon in my stomach, bro.
My nigga.
Yeah,
I thought that was the dog's next.
I'm hungry, man.
My nigga, we gotta wrap this up to get you some food.
Hungry, fam. But my point is...
That's what we're gonna call this episode. I'm hungry, fam.
I'm hungry, fam. But my point is like, that kind of saddened me that... Man, it was a really, really big thing that I'm like, wow, your partner doesn't know this about you. And my question is, why doesn't he feel comfortable sharing this thing about him with his partner? I feel like his partner deserves to know this. And it's like, did your partner make you feel like if they knew this about you, that they would leave you? Is this something that developed at some point during the relationship and you don't know how to tell them that you changed? Like, there's all these different things like that just happen throughout life. So I just think we should task ourselves with being the most authentic version of ourselves for ourselves and for our partners. And then again, creating that comfortable, safe space to where our partners can feel comfortable and feel some sense of acceptance for us. So
do you feel it's important to try and change, because you're saying being authentic to yourself, right? Do you think it's important to, because you've also said that you're a nurturer and you try to give in relationships to make someone else feel better or succeed in many ways, do you feel that it's okay for you to change yourself to nurture that other person in some way or another?
It depends.
Because technically that wouldn't necessarily you being that authentic self that you speak of.
It depends if you want it for yourself. If you're like, it's a personal goal of mine to have harmony in my marriage, right? It's important for me to have harmony in my marriage. And I know that if I don't change my position on this, my marriage is not going to be harmonious. So in an effort to have that harmony, I'm willing to make a compromise and change this, make this sacrifice for the sake of our marriage, because that's something I want to maintain, and having harmony is important to me. So it's like, it may be out of line with your true self as an individual, but if the end result is this harmonious marriage that you want to maintain, that's the exchange that's happening there.
So the ending result, it trumps the moment of...
Sometimes you have to pick what's more important.
Yeah, no, I get it.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think a big mistake is that when we do expect to get in these long-term relationships and think that things are not going to change, that's where we set ourselves up for failure. So I think we can all challenge ourselves to kind of adapt to change. We don't have to accept all changes, but we should challenge ourselves that if certain changes were to occur, that we do have to make decisions to accept, embrace or to leave, or like those are things that are just normal pieces of life. But I feel that people's pride and ego gets in the way, and they just force themselves to stay together because that's what marriage is all about. And I actually would hope that my next marriage is that way, that no matter what, my spouse and I can work through all issues. But that does take two people that want it to be that way.
And I think another misconception that we have between people in relationships is that they believe that the moment things get rough, that means it's not meant to be, and you're supposed to go your own ways. That's not reality. Reality is that no matter how perfect your relationship is, or that you think that it is, you're going to come across issues and problems and arguments. And if you're just going to throw your hands up in the air every time that happens in a relationship, you're probably going to be alone for a long time.
Wow. Very interesting feedback from you.
I'm not talking about cheating. That's completely different.
So cheating's not included in that.
Not for me. Not for me personally.
I cannot with you, fam.
How?
Because cheating is an issue.
For me,
cheating is a relationship issue. So why doesn't that same concept of working through issues and problems envelop cheating?
Because I can only speak on my personal experiences and choices, and I have given someone in the past a chance past cheating once, and it only furthered the issue. So to me, I'm not willing to put myself in that same space again. If we have issues where we can't agree on certain things, or you see things one way when it comes to how we raise our child and I see it completely different, these are things that we can compromise on and work to try and maybe change it and work through it. Things like that. To me, cheating is like, it's disrespectful, it's disloyal, and I personally don't want to put myself in the type of space where I want to work through that, because I have seen personally where it ends up, and I don't want to give that someone that control over constantly being disloyal and disrespectful to me.
And I don't want to come off too critical, because I personally have never been in a relationship where I've stayed with someone who's cheated on me. I haven't. But my thing is like, I'm not saying one is right or wrong. I totally get that based off your own experiences. It's something you don't want to put yourself through again. And I totally respect and understand that perspective. However, how do you feel about people personally that stay in relationships in which that their partners cheated on them, they've forgiven their partner, they're still going strong? No, but how do I look at them? How do you look at other people that have a different approach or different thoughts? Do you feel like it's right? Do you feel like it's wrong? Do you feel like it's crazy? Do you feel like if it works for them, I'm happy for them?
I feel like whatever works for you, if that is how your marriage or relationship works, and you are able to look past these things and still function within that relationship, by all means, more power to you. But I personally, I know how I am. I hold on to things that have made me feel some type of way. So there's no way that I can give someone a clean slate and then move forward, because it wouldn't be fair to you either for me to tell you I'm giving you a second chance, but I'm constantly getting mad about something and then bringing up the fact that you cheated on me 2 months ago. That's not fair. If I'm willing to give you another chance, I'm supposed to give you another chance and not bring that shit up so that I can see you do differently. So it's not fair to you, and it's not fair to me.
Touche.
Feel me?
Yeah, fair enough. That's really fair.
Okay. Thanks.
So
on to this sex talk though.
So still celibate, still strong.
How many days is it now?
I don't know, like 12 or 13.
Okay, look at you doing double digit numbers.
14, I don't know, something like that.
Okay.
So masturbation.
That happens a lot during celibacy. Let me let you know. 2 years in the game,
Okay, so I'm actually masturbating a little bit less.
Well, because when you go longer periods without actual sex, you don't really...
Yeah. So here's my question, though.
Okay.
You had a long day. You're ready to de-stress. The vibrator's charging in your nightstand. You're like, yo, as soon as I'm done with everything, I'm about to, play some Guitar Hero. That's what I like to call it.
Okay.
Or massage.
Got it.
Right? So you're like, yo, I'm going to play some Guitar Hero. So my question is, Do you take a shower before or after masturbation? During is ideal, but if it's not waterproof, are you showering before or after the masturbation?
Me personally?
Yes.
After.
Man, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I feel like I need a shower before and after.
I'm showering after.
Yo, I feel like... So
have you asked this question to other people?
No.
Oh, okay. Because you seem like that's the answer that you're getting all the time.
No, I just feel like I don't know the answer for myself, bruh. Like, I'm just like, I take a shower. I'm like, yo.
You're setting yourself in the mood.
Yes. I'm like, I'm about to do this shit. I'm about to get in the bed. Whatever. Then the fireworks happen. And then I'm like, fuck. I feel like I need to take a shower again. Because I just, did my thing. And then I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Double shower?
No, I'm taking a shower after. Like, I feel like it's me. It's me. Like, nobody else is around. It's just me. But I know that guys can relate to this too, because I've had conversations. But like, after you nut, I don't care what happened up until that point. After you nut, even though that was an explosion and everything felt so great, the moment after you nut, everything feels so weird. Like, isn't that true? It's so true. It's like what did I do? What kind of... Yo, I question...
I'm watching the video on my phone. I'm like...
Yes. I literally question my porn selection every time after I nut. Like, I'm like, why the fuck was I watching this? Like, who am I? Like, I'm questioning who I am as a person. Like... And it's like weird because of the porn selection. It's like, okay, look, we are pretty open, right, and vocal about certain things. So like, I can be a little bit. I tend to enjoy a little bit more of an aggressive sex, like nothing too crazy. Right. But my nigga, like, my porn selection is not just like aggressive. It's like, why are you doing this to her? Like, she doesn't deserve this. Like, that's how I feel after I nut. But like leading up to it, I'm like, yeah, you stupid bitch. Like, you deserve that shit. Tell me I'm lying though. Tell me I'm lying. Bro, I'm not lying.
So mad we're on video right now. I'm losing my shit.
Are you gonna pee on yourself?
I almost did. I did it. I caught it though. I'm like, I'm on video. Get it together, fam.
Dude, because you know it's true.
This is gonna be a clip.
You know it's true.
Bruh, I cannot.
And it's like, it's so bad. Like, you literally are like, I seriously like doubt whether or not I'm truly a good person afterwards. Like, I'm just like, why did I do this? Like, so that makes me feel like that's why I have to take a shower afterwards. I have to wash all those sins away. Like, I have to get in the shower and be like, okay, and then I come back out and I'm a whole new person. I'm like, I left that in the bathtub. Like, it is no longer a part of who I am.
Oh my God. Doug.
Tell me it's not
That's
true.
funny as fuck. Bro, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say other than the moments after coming. Man, it's like, it sometimes is like makes you feel like a horrible person,
right?
And that always sucks. But anyway, wow, that was good. So I want to thank those of you who listened to this week's episode. Thank you for checking us out on YouTube. The YouTube is CO in Rome. Just search CO in Rome podcast. It should show up for you. Also, if you haven't already, please follow us on all social media platforms. Definitely subscribe to the show. And I want to take a note out of Premium Pete's book. Yo, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're looking to grow. So if you know a friend that enjoys podcasts, please ask them to check us out. We're looking to branch out, and we really, really appreciate all of you for listening week after week.
Yes, and we also really, truly enjoy your guys and appreciate your guys' feedback, whatever that feedback may be. And we're looking a lot more for that this season so that we can grow and keep entertaining you guys. So definitely reach out to us. We are the type of people that will respond back without any issues. So please do that.
All right. Thanks again. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.